Osio, Candice Byrd Dawado. Hello, my name is Candice Byrd, and I'm the Cultural and Tourism Coordinator for Cherokee Nation Business's Cultural and Tourism Department. Welcome to our first virtual Living Story Corner. Today, I will be sharing with you the origin of medicine and disease. Sawiawa. They say that it happened a long time ago. That man and the animals all lived together in one place in a peaceable way for a long time, and they all spoke the same language. After a while, though, man's numbers grew so large that he began pushing the animals out of their homes and out of their natural habitats. What was more is that man was a hunter who hunted with the deadly bow and arrow and the spear, and he would hunt the animals for their skins and for their furs and for their meat. The animals decided that this was enough, and they decided that they needed to remind man that man shares this planet with the other animals. So, the first group of animals decided that they would call a great council to decide what should be done with man. The first group of animals to call a council were the bears. The chief of the bears is the great white bear, and he called his meeting at the mulberry place in the mountains. Together he asked his fellow bears what was man's deadliest weapon. And the other bears answered him that it was the bow and the arrow. And the chief asked them, "What is it made out of?" The other bears answered that the bow is made out of a locust tree, and the string is made with sinew made from their insides and their skins. The chief of the bears asked the others if they should wage war against man with his very own weapon. And the bears thought that this was a good idea. But in order for the bears to learn how to make this weapon, one of them had to sacrifice himself in order for the weapon to be made. So one bear voluntarily sacrificed himself so that sinew may be made from his skin and from his insides to make the long string that goes with the bow. But as the bears tried to shoot the bow, when they pulled back the string, their claws would get caught on the string. The bears realized that in order to hunt effectively with this bow and arrow, that they would have to clip their claws. It was then that the chief of the bears told the others that it would be better for them to hunt and to forage and to wage their war with what nature had given them, their teeth and their claws. Man's weapon was not made for the bears. And so they disbanded their council and they went their separate ways. The next group of animals to call a council were the deer. The chief of the deer is called the little deer. The little deer is fast and swift as the wind and can turn invisible. The little deer asked his people, what should they do to man if man is ungrateful when he hunts them? And the deer decided that if a man kills one of them, the little deer will go up to the blood of the dead deer and ask the blood if the man had given thanks before he killed the deer or if he hadn't. If he had given thanks, the little deer would go about his way. But if the blood told the little deer that the hunter had not given thanks, then the little deer would follow that hunter invisibly, go into that hunter's home, and strike that hunter with rheumatism, crippling the hunter for the rest of his life. The next group of animals to call a council were the fish and the snakes. The snakes and the fish decided that they would send bad nightmares and dreams to the man so that he would dream of terrible, slimy things while he slept. The last council to be called was that of the insects and the little woodland animals. The chief to hold this council was the grubworm. And the grubworm asked his people if man was indeed guilty of pushing them out of their homes, and the other animals answered yes. The man is guilty of pushing us out of our homes, and he has no regard for us. The frog said, the man doesn't even pay attention to where he is stepping anymore, so he steps on me and he hurts my back, and my back is bruised and scarred. The only creature to speak up for the man was the little woodland squirrel. And the woodland squirrel said that the man never paid him very much attention, so he didn't bother him. But this made the other animals angry, and they jumped on the little woodland squirrel and they scratched his back. And that is why the woodland squirrel has his stripes on his back. The grubworm then asked his people what should they do to get back at man. Each of the animals then decided that they would create and make and name new diseases and new illnesses. And the grubworm asked each animal one by one the name of the new disease and the names of the new illnesses. And the grubworm was so pleased with their answers that he fell backwards, laughing with joy. When he fell backwards, he struggled to get back up. And that is why the grubworm struggles to get back up when he falls backwards today. The next council to be called was that of the plants, not the animals. When the plants had heard what the animals had done, naming and creating all these new and different diseases, the plants decided that they wanted to be friendly to the man, and that they wanted to help the man, and that for each and every new disease that every one of the animals had named, they would provide the cure. "I will help the man," said the plants. "If he calls to me, I will provide the cure." And so every grass and every moss and every tree and every root has a cure, if only we could find it. Wado, and thank you for listening to my story today. I would like to close out with a song on my flute. Wado.